This video is brought to you by Squarespace. How's it going, everybody? ChaoticMeatball here, and welcome back to the channel. So today, I think we take another adventure into the Hoenn region. I'm ascending the regional ladder after all. 2 Nuzlockes ago was Kanto, the last one was Johto. It only makes sense that we're going Hoenn this time. Though, next time when we get to Sinnoh, don't worry, it'll be Legends Arceus. With that said, we're gonna be jumping into the Steel type this go-around. This is one of the few types that people haven't done in Emerald version as of yet, and that's for a pretty good reason. See, there are only 5 available encounters in this game. Aron in Granite Cave, Skarmory on Route 113, Magnemite in New Mauville, Pineco in the Safari Zone, and Mawile in the Victory Road. I'm honestly just doing this video to see if I can make it possible. I don't think it is, but knowing me, I'll cheese this run to hell and back to make sure it is, and I want the opportunity to do so. Anyways, make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel since 68% of my viewers are unsubscribed, and it helps expose the channel to other people that may like this sort of thing, and leave a comment below guessing how many attempts it'll take. I'm writing this bit of the script before I start the run, since I'd like to guess my own number of attempts, and I think I'm gonna go with 2. I'll probably end up doing something really stupid during the first attempt, lose, and then never do it again, and win. Hopefully. Copium. With all that said, though, I'd like to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Squarespace. I've talked about Squarespace a few times before, and they've really got me hooked on their site creation tools as of late. They've given me a year for free to make my own website and display the tools used, and I'm really happy about how everything looks. I'm a simplistic type of guy. I love dark mode, so my website's background is black with white text, but not so white as to be too much contrast. However, say I want to change it to be more in line with my channel's colors, dark blues and greens. Fonts and colors of your website are very easy to edit with Squarespace's configuration tools. So if I say, want to change my website's background to be dark navy blue to fit in with my channel's logo coloration, I can simply hit the edit button on my site, click the paintbrush on the top right labeled Site Styles, where I can easily upload an image, and it gives you 6 colors for your palette. This is a fantastic way to theme a website around pre-existing branding, and there's so much more to customize if you want to make sure you've nailed every last detail down. Squarespace also has the option to use your website for business. For physical products, services, subscriptions, and even digital content, there's plenty of ways to show the world what you've got to offer. With that said, make sure to head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/meatball to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I'll also be leaving a link in the description to my website. I post exclusive blog posts over there talking about the stuff I'm doing, some personal stuff, basically anything that's on the mind at the time. It's a great platform for doing both casual or business-related things, so definitely give Squarespace a look, and thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. So, of course, none of our starters evolve into a Steel type or are a Steel type naturally, so we can't choose one of these. But since the first Steel type doesn't appear until the second gym, I figured I'd at least change my starter to be Aron, since that would be the first encounter I'd normally get in Granite Cave. We've actually got a decent set of moves starting out. Tackle and Harden are basically what you'd see on a normal starter, and we'll be getting moves like Mud Slap and Metal Claw before Roxanne, so we should be in good shape. I have May choose Torchic here, since it'll likely be our most difficult starter to take down. Despite Aron being part rock, Torchic eventually becomes part fighting, giving us a 4x weakness while also having the fire type for the remainder of our eventual team. She's a breeze to take down, and there's only 2 required battles between here and Roxanne. These are against the trainer on Route 102 with a level 5 Poochyena, and an Aqua Grunt in Petalburg Woods with a level 9 Poochyena, so I take this time to EV train. Level 2 Poochyenas are the Pokemon of choice, as I'm looking for the attack stat. The higher attack I have, the harder I can hit foes and take them down, as unfortunately for me, I won't be able to really take advantage of any outspeeding, as most Steel types are pretty slow with the exception of Skarmory, who has a base 70 speed and agility, so I'll be sticking to defense for Aron's other main stat, but we'll get to that one later. Also, since Aron's part of the slow EXP group, we've got a ton of EXP to work with, so much so that I'm able to get all 252 needed attack EVs by level 14, giving me a level's worth of flexible EXP to get some defense EVs. The choice is between training on level 6 Nincada, which provide 55 EXP, or level 5 Silcoons and Cascoons in the Petalburg Woods, which happen to provide 51, so I'll be going with these to edge up to just under level 16. With that task finished though, let's rip Roxanne a new one. This is a very simple fight. All 3 of her Pokemon are weak to Metal Claw, though I did forget that Roxanne's potions don't exactly heal these Geodudes back to full, so I used Mud Slap in the hopes I'd keep her in range for a Metal Claw KO, but it was unneeded, letting me KO next turn with a second Metal Claw after taking only a single Rock Tomb. The second Geodude is streamlined with this knowledge, 2 Metal Claws and it's gone, leaving just Nose Pass. It's much more defensive, but Metal Claw still does the trick, 3 of those through a block, Harden, and Tackle, and I've got myself the first badge. The run's definitely starting off strong, but I wouldn't say we'll have it too easy for long. After taking care of the Aqua Grunt in the "Bro, I can't believe you painted a Vertiturf tunnel on the wall every time, bro!" area of the game, I found myself sent over to Dewford Town, and not with much flexibility in the EXP department. I'm 4 times weak to fighting, and I don't have much in the defense EVs, but I do pour as much as I can into that stat before going in, since I'm damn sure gonna need it. I also taught Aron Headbutt before this fight, thanks to it getting it by level up, so if I'm faster than anything, I may be able to just win based on flinching my opponent out of the game, but we'll see. Brawley starts off with Machop, which I am faster than, but it doesn't flinch, allowing for a low kick to connect for the near one-shot, though I do recover some HP thanks to my Oran Berry, firing off a Metal Claw to KO next turn. 2 Pokemon left, and nowhere near enough HP. Metatite is second, and thankfully wastes his time with Focus Punch, giving me a free 2-shot KO through a Super Potion because of a critical hit, leaving just Makihita. Headbutt flinches the first time, but his Citrus Berry negates all but 1 point of damage, so I go for it again as it's the only hope I have, and I get the second flinch, allowing for Aron to fire off one last Metal Claw to seal the deal and get me the Knuckle Badge. Well, that was a miracle. This was the first fight that I expected would seal the deal on this run being impossible, but I suppose flinching is a legitimate strategy, if extremely unskillful and inconsistent. So, if you thought that Brawley was going to be the fight that basically walls me out of the game most of the time, you'd be forgetting about the next 2 fights. May has a Combuskin by this point, which has Double Kick, and Watson has multiple Pokemon with Shockwave, which is able to play through Mud Slap and connect for neutral damage, as Aron's not part Ground type. The little bit of Aqua Grunt stuff beforehand, though, is as easy as it can get, leaving the May fight. I'll admit, this is a slaughter. Her Wingull is able to land a Water Gun as I miss with Rock Tomb, but she misses Supersonic as I land Rock Tomb for the one-shot, KOing and leading to Combuskin. Now, if she fired off Supersonic and missed on the first turn, I'd be able to survive a double kick and land a Mud Slap, and have to essentially force a win through sheer dumb luck, but that didn't happen. I just lose to a double kick after being outsped. Yeah, that's to be expected, and after a few attempts that required me to get through Brawley again, that only being 4, which I guess is really good odds, I'm able to get back to May, and essentially, the same thing happens. Wingull's the lead, goes for Water Gun, and I connect with Rock Tomb to KO into Combuskin. Now this time, I focused on HP with Wormpole, a bit of special defense with Lotad, and defense with Silcoon and Cascoon, but it's still not enough to hold up Aron through a Water Gun and Double Kick. Alright, I'm gonna give up on this one. At least I can control the starter my rival has, so I'm gonna give her Trico. This will make it possible to progress, and she'll still have a Water and Fire type on the team. After all, it's not like May's a very important character in this game. We'll survive. After getting roasted in the comments. This new attempt goes on to have her actually lead with Supersonic and miss, getting KO'd with Rock Tomb. Well, come on, if you at least did that last time, I would have had a chance against her Combuskin, if that happened at all. But either way, Wingull goes down and Slugma comes out next, dodging a Rock Tomb to hit an Ember for 10 damage, as Rock Tomb lands next turn for the one-shot KO, leaving just Grovyle. The best thing it has to damage me with is Absorb, so I just lay in with Headbutts, taking him down in 2 shots and winning the fight with around half HP. See, completely manageable if I take the easy way out. Sadly, Watson's not as controllable. He's got the same party every time, so I'll have to navigate carefully to even have a shot at winning. Thankfully, only one of his trainers are required, so I can just get to him with no worries about dealing with any electric-type related problems, leaving the man himself. As he leads off with Voltorb, I get outsped and he just goes for self-destruct, only doing a grand total of 5 damage. Well, at least that makes my life easier. Second out is Magneton, and since it's quad weak to Mud Slap, I start laying in, hoping that it prioritizes status moves so that I can evade damage. I also have a held Cherry Berry just in case, but somehow he's just able to land 3 Sonic Booms in a row through Mud Slap and KO Auron. Well, kind of expected Shockwave, but it's not like you need it if you just hit all the time anyway. You know what? No, I'm not playing this game today. Screw it. I'm playing Fire Red. That's better. How's it going, everybody? ChaoticMeatball here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be doing another Fire Red Hardcore Nuzlocke, but this time with one of the most difficult types in the game, the Fire type. We've got a small pool to work with, including Charmander, Ponyta, the Fire Red exclusive Growlithe, and Flareon, as Vulpix and Magmar exclusive to Leaf Green, so I should probably be playing that version, but I'm angry, so I don't care right now. And Moltres, because it's a legendary and appears in the same area that Magmar does anyway. So let's just jump into this. We don't have to change our starter in this run, thanks to Charmander already just sitting at the table. So I pick her up, name her Lizagon, because it's gonna be a lizard dragon eventually, and our rival takes Squirtle. I named my rival Poop, because that's how I feel right now. The battle of the normal type moves goes great for me, as I just spam Scratch as he wastes time with Tail Whip after Tail Whip, leading to a quick win with over half HP remaining. Good start, but now we gotta assess our EV strategy. I figured starting out with the attack stat and eventually balancing it out later with the special attack stat with a max out on speed would be the best strategy. After all, we've got Flying type stab for physical, Fire type stab for special, and before Brock, I'll have access to Metal Claw, so the higher attack I have, the better. The Pokemon of choice? Level 2 Mankeys on Route 21. They provide 21 EXP and give 1 attack EV each. And in addition, I figured I'd grab a few level 2 Rattatas whenever I encountered them. After all, they're speed EVs, and I'm gonna need my fair share of those as well. During my grind, though, I found a shiny Mankey. Well, I guess that makes 2 shiny encounters in my Monotype Nuzlocke. Sadly, this one isn't usable since it's not a Fire type. Would have been really cool to have during my Fighting type video, but alas, I caught it anyway, because I'm sure I'd get roasted in the comments if I had ran away from it since it wasn't level 2. Well, that perked me up right away, I must say, so after finishing up as much EV training as I could, I headed through Viridian Forest, fought the 1 required trainer I needed to beat to get into Pewter City, and challenged the gym at level 13. The reason behind this madness, instead of edging up to right before level 15, is to mitigate the eventual sting of the level cap. There's a boatload of required trainers on routes 24 and 25, and I need to get through my rival to get to them, so that already requires levels in and of itself, or else I'm not making it through Pidgeotto or Squirtle, so it's kind of a mess. However, I guess it doesn't even matter since Geodude got a critical tackle on Charmander while also using Defense Curl to hedge against Metal Claw. This leaves me with around 2/3 HP going into Onix, and without any attack boosts from Metal Claw, it barely does anything to Onix, allowing him to KO with a Tackle and Rock Tomb. Come on, man, I just need to win a Nuzlocke today. Sure, that shiny had boosted my mood slightly, but now I'm just back down. Oh well, back to Emerald, I guess. All jokes and gags aside, though, I figured I'd actually give a shout out to Furious Challenges and his Fire-type Nuzlocke video of Fire Red. He actually managed to get past Misty, but the level cap is just too much of a wall to bypass when you only have 1 Pokemon to sink EXP into. Sure, I did it with Mankey, but Mankey has a bigger advantage over the early game trainers than Charmander does, being weak to the first 2 leaders after all, as well as your rival's starter, making it near impossible without insane critical hit luck, as well as Smokescreen making your opponent miss nearly every single time. Anyway, leave a comment down below if you want to see a video detailing more of these nearly impossible monotype hardcore Nuzlockes that are impossible without ridiculously good RNG. I think it could make for a really interesting analysis video, but for now, let's see what we can do with Steel types in Emerald again and try to get past Watson. After I think 6 more attempts, I managed to make it back to Watson, this time much more focused on HP and splitting up defenses in order to keep myself alive up to this point. Voltorb once again starts off with Self-Destruct. Not sure what it's causing to do that, but I guess I'll take it. It's just 5 damage, leading to Magneton. I go for Mud Slap here as he lands Supersonic, but Auron doesn't hit herself, nailing it for around a third as Sonic Boom then misses next turn, allowing for Auron to get out of confusion and land a second Mud Slap. Not sure why it didn't adjust to Shockwave here, but another Supersonic comes down, misses, and allows me to KO with a third Mud Slap, leading to main Neck Trick. Firstly, I wanted to test here whether or not Mud Slap would do more than Rock Tomb, and no, it does not. So I went for the Rock Tomb strat that I came up with, so that I'd be able to slow it down by 2 stages, then outspeed and nail a third one for the KO. But the second got a critical, so no need to worry. Last out is Electrike, using Howl as I used Rock Tomb, then going for Quick Attack for a single point of damage as Rock Tomb finished it off, winning me the battle. That's one for the history books. All I needed was for Magneton to be a complete idiot, and I was good from there. Now finally, I get a new team member here. After making my way through Route 112 in the Fiery Path, I'm able to head into Route 113 and capture myself a Skarmory. This is going to be super helpful for evading those nasty ground-type moves coming up on both Maxie's and Flannery's Camerupt, though the fire-type moves are still going to be a huge threat, especially on such a brittle bird. If only Sturdy worked the same way as it does in Gen 5 and beyond here. Anyway, I need to do some preparation before going into the fight with Maxie. A few TMs should suffice here, those being Dig for Aron and Steel Wing and Hidden Power for Skarmory. The latter fortunately landed with Hidden Power Fighting, a great type that should help out with Maxie's Mightyena, and it's physical, so it's a nice coverage typing. The double battle before Tabitha is easy, one-shots with Hidden Power and Rock Tomb finishes that off, and Tabitha's just as easy, with Skarmory using 2 Hidden Powers on the first Numel, 2 more on the second, which fires off Magnitude despite me using a Flying type, Poochyena, naturally a one-shot with a Fighting move, and Zubat, also a one-shot but this time with Steel Wing. Maxie's all that's left between me and the gym, so after getting up to level 27, I'm ready to fight him. He leads off with Mightyena, which has Intimidate, so of course I lead here with Aron to make sure Skarmory's at peak fighting condition. After all, we don't need our main attacker getting any extra damage than it already is going to take here. I figure he's going to start off with Sand Attack here, so I want to keep Aron out until I see either 2 of those or a Bite, since at that point I can probably safely swap into Skarmory, take a light Bite, then KO with Hidden Power. So I swap on the second Sand Attack after landing a Rock Tomb, but he goes for a third Sand Attack, so I just swap back to do the dance again, sending in Aron to take a Bite. I swap back into Skarmory, but another Sand Attack comes through. Are these just the 2 random moves he's choosing between and not using Roar or anything? I swapped once again into Aron, taking another Sand Attack, then landing a Rock Tomb as another Sand Attack lands while I'm in this time. I swap again for Skarmory, and finally I see a Bite come down, safely letting me outspeed next turn and KO with Hidden Power. I can't risk Skarmory having lowered accuracy going into Camerupt. I just can't, it's suicide. Hidden Power is a 3-shot here, and Camerupt's only fire-type move is Ember, so I should be safe. But he goes for Magnitude, then does it again. Maxie, you do realize that flying negates the ground-type weakness of steel types, right? Well, I guess not, since that's a free KO, leaving just a Zubat to fall to a Steel Wing. I guess I appreciate it, but that just seemed awfully weird. Then again, Watson didn't use Shockwave despite accuracy deprivation from Mud Slap, and Tabitha just did the same thing with Skarmory and Magnitude, so I guess I shouldn't be super surprised to see the AI be a complete dip. On the way out though, I grabbed the Meteorite so that I can get Return later on, then headed south through the Jagged Pass to end up in Lava Ridge Town. The required gym trainers don't put up much of a fight since they all go down relatively easily, leaving Flannery and my duo of soon-to-be-melted steel types. First up is Numel, so I go with Skarmory, using Air Cutter and getting a critical thanks to the higher crit ratio the move has, leading to Slugma, who's outsped and crit all the same, but that one probably didn't matter as much as the one on Numel did. Third is Camerupt, and thanks to Sunny Day not having been set up by Numel, I can safely swap into Aron, taking an Overheat in the process and surviving on exactly 1/3 HP. Now, normally this would be a problem, since -2 special attack just means that Overheat will do half damage on the next usage, which would KO Aron, but thanks to my Oran Berry, that shouldn't be happening outside of an errant critical hit. Thankfully, it doesn't matter since Overheat misses next turn as I use Dig, leading to half damage on Camerupt the next turn as she uses Tackle before I come up, missing, and probably to conserve points on Overheat. As I go underground again, she finally sets up Sunny Day for Torkoal, but Camerupt goes down to Dig, leaving one more Pokemon to go, of course that being the Torkoal. This is definitely going to be dicey, but Aron does outspeed Torkoal, so I can go for some flinch strats with Headbutt in the attempt to lower the clock on the Sunny Day. The first headbutt doesn't flinch though, but she misses with overheat again, giving me a second chance at life, thankfully getting the flinch on the second headbutt. Torkoal's got around 65% HP remaining, so I go for Dig, going for as much damage as possible, since it's unlikely a miss or a flinch happens again, sacking off Auron to get Torkoal in range of a potential critical air cutter, since that's all I have left that can potentially take this thing out and not end the run. Torkoal's White Herb puts her back at neutral special attack though, and seeing a non-crit air cutter means it's the end of the attempt. One overheat one-shots and ends the entire run once again. Well, I can't say I didn't try. Nearly a dozen attempts, RNG-ridden fights, and mostly just one Pokemon definitely doesn't serve this run well. Hell, if you want to know what massive luck it would take to beat Flannery, I'll throw up a simulation fight here, since it gets to be really hectic. I gotta drain a Hyper Potion on Numel, or else she's gonna have too much in the tank for Torkoal later on, and Skarmory's able to KO both Numel and Slugma with Air Cutter without taking any damage. Camerupt, though, because the sun is up, means I have to dodge every overheat, or else Skarmory and Auron will fall immediately to overheat. From here, it's basically just dig and dodge overheat or else you're dead. Kind of helps that overheat is only 90% accurate, but it still adds up to be a very minuscule odds overall. I've also found that a critical headbutt that flinches Torkoal is the most optimal for the amount of turns I had left up on Sun, which was 1 at the time, so next turn Torkoal's forced into using Sunny Day since she prioritizes that over going for damage. Headbutt doesn't have to flinch there, but it certainly expands the potential life of the run, but if it doesn't, then you just have to get a critical hit on Dig to win with 0 damage, or if not, you just Air Cutter with Skarmory and Auron dies. Ridiculous, right? Yeah, I thought so too. I wasn't about to reset hundreds of times only to be stopped multiple times on Brawley, more on Watson, only to get another attempt at Flannery in the vain efforts to get a less than 1% win rate. Anyway, I had a ton of fun analyzing this Nuzlocke though and seeing potentially how far you can get with only the available encounters in Emerald version. If I opened this up and allowed, say, 1 Pokemon per gym, I'd be able to add in exactly Steelix and Beldum, since the former isn't available in Emerald and the latter is only available as a gift after beating the champion, and if I wanted to break even more rules, Jirachi, so that I'd have an even 8 encounters. But again, this is more about what you can do in the confines of the game, with the exception of the occasional starter change to get your first encounter right at the start, instead of waiting for a badge or two, but that's mostly for viewer experience. With all that being said though, once again, if you'd like me to take a look at more of these, quote, impossible Nuzlockes, maybe in bundles of 3 or 4 to make it a more full-length video, since I know this isn't exactly the video size that you all expect from my Nuzlockes, please let me know in the comments below. I've been toying with this idea, and I figured it would be a good way of introducing it. Also, shoutouts to my $5 and above patrons, Arantula, Aaron Ladeau, Aaron Rhinesmith, Aiden Brannon, Andy, Austin Rose, Box of Turtles, Casper Kirkpatrick, Cryptic Gamer, Heimflow, Jacob Johnson, Justin Dimmenstein, Leon Metalg, Zeno, and Zachary Kiever. Thank you guys for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.